Hello, pineapplers. Oh, this ring light is not working for me. Okay, wait, we're gonna remove it. And maybe just put it here. Okay, hi, pineapplers, and welcome back to Wine Wednesday. I'm gonna set this up, and we are going to be talking all about biggest website copy mistakes. Hi, Sarah. Big website copy mistakes. Okay, so I got my ring light, but I think it's just so bright. Okay, so hi everyone, and welcome back to Wine Wednesdays. I am Cassandra. I am the founder of the Quirky Pineapple Studio, a brand strategy and copywriting agency for service-based business owners who want to increase their impact and income sustainably, all by raising their voice and getting more visible. So in today's Wine Wednesday episode, what we're going to be talking about is the biggest website copy mistakes that we normally see when we go in and we rewrite our client's website copy, or we help other people who are writing their own website copy through the Use Your Voice Mastermind or in other service offerings that we have. So if you are watching live, I can't tell if I like this ring light or not. I don't think so. I'm gonna remove it. Okay, cool. Actually, that's way better. Okay. If you are watching live, let me know where you're watching from. Sarah, I think I know where you're watching from. But if you are drinking something, please let me know down in the comments below. I finally finished the bottle of, well, I didn't finish it yet, but I'm about to finish that one bottle that I opened, I don't know, like 4 weeks ago, since I've been doing Wine Wednesday. So here it is. Yay. Delicious. And now we're just gonna dive right into it. Okay, so before we get started on talking about like the 3 biggest mistakes, it's totally normal that these things occur, and also that when you're writing your own website copy, this happens just because you are in your own head. It's hard to get like a bird's eye view of your brand. And of course, like when you're just so close to it, you get hyped up and start talking about things that like sometimes your clients just don't understand, or you are talking about it like somebody else already knows. So this is what happens usually when we write our own website copy. One, it's hard to remove ourselves from the situation just because we're just so close to it. The brand is your baby, the business is your baby, we get it. And 2, because we are experts in our field, sometimes the way we talk about things and the way we write things ends up being very technical, or okay, so there are 2 ways. You can either be super technical, or you end up kind of like glossing over things because you think everybody else knows what you know. So that's kind of what happens when we DIY our own website copy and we don't work with a copywriter. And of course, I also believe that if you have just started your business, working with a website copywriter is super helpful. But I also think that maybe like if you just started, like legit just started your business in the past 6 months, then it's okay to DIY your website copy. But after those 6 months to a year of being in business, then maybe it's time to work with a website copywriter to write all of your copy, or with someone who is a website copywriter to help you kind of audit things and read over your copy and edit and all of that stuff. Okay, so Sarah says she's drinking water today. Awesome. Hi, Katie. If you are watching still, let me know where you're watching from and if you are drinking anything. Hello, Jimena. Where are you watching from? I think you're watching from London. And let me know what you are having in the comments below. I've got wine. And of course, because I'm a lightweight, I've got water. Important things. Remember, if you are going to drink, always have a glass of water because it helps and it will soothe your hangover. Drinking tips from Cassandra. Hi, just got an electrolyte drink tonight. Oh, yummy. That's like Gatorade, isn't it? Or there's this other one that like my friends would drink. It's like a baby drink. I think it's called Pedialyte or something. And they would definitely drink it when they were hungover because it like gave them back the electrolytes I guess they lost because they have a hangover. But anyways, okay, so like I was saying in the beginning, when we first start our website copy, there are a few things that we end up doing. And like I was also saying, in the beginning, I think it's always great to write your own website copy first, just because investing in a copywriter is a little bit of a larger investment for your brand. And then also, when you first start your business, it just doesn't make sense to do it because you're still learning the ropes. Once you've gotten past that point and you're at the 1 year mark to a year and a half, then it's time to work with a professional to really amp up your online presence. So the thing about website copy is that honestly, I believe this is the kicker for what people will actually, like what will actually drive people to purchase a product, or to even click on something and download a freebie that you've created, or follow you on Instagram or anything like that. I think visuals are super important, and I think like branded visuals are also extremely important, and they're very complementary to copywriting. But if you really don't know what you're saying, what your message is, what your purpose is, and like your copy is all over the place, then honestly, no matter the beautiful visuals that you have and the website that you have, and the online space, whatever, you are going to lose people because one, they won't know what to do. Two, they're going to get confused. And then three, you're not going to book calls or book clients or get people to download whatever you want them to download. So this is why it's super important to not commit these mistakes. All right, so the first one that I wanted to go over is the I versus you, me versus we, you versus they, all of that stuff. Like I mentioned in last week's Instagram Live, Wine Wednesday, a lot of the times when like me and Luana read through social media or even website copy, we notice that a lot of people, they end up talking about themselves. Totally normal. I mean, you love what you do. You want people to know. You want people to know that you are super passionate about it and that you're here to help them and you're here to serve them and you're here to help, like, give them anything that they could ever possibly want through your services. What happens is, like I was mentioning last week, it ends up being kind of like a one-person date and like a one-way conversation, because you're mostly kind of talking at them and not with them. And then also it ends up being that you're just talking about yourself the whole time, that you're not really getting to know them. And of course, in relationships, in dating or anything, listening is key. So you always want to listen first and then kind of reiterate exactly what they say. So say, for example, our client is somebody who, what we've learned when we've like talked to them through market research calls, or, you know, when we're just interacting with them through Instagram or anything like that, we've learned that they feel shy or nervous to express themselves, and they feel a little bit like they're being judged or they're judging themselves for wanting to get attention. And once we found that out, we actually incorporated it into our website copy, and now we switch it and we don't say, I love helping you. We love helping you. We want to help you stand out. We want to help you do this. Work with us with copywriting and content strategies so that you feel good getting out there. No, what we do first is that we have to talk to them. So we want to actually, you know, use the language that they use and talk directly to them. So that means besides using I, use you. Besides using me, use we. And also another thing I found is sometimes people on website copy, they talk about their ideal clients they refer to them not as you, they refer to them as they. So it's like you're referring to the people who are reading your website as they and not you. So then it like creates a little bit of a divide when the person's reading. So say, for example, you're reading, I don't know, Papa John's. I don't know if you all know what Papa John's is. It's a pizza chain in the United States. Maybe I should use McDonald's. Okay, so you're reading the McDonald's website. And McDonald's is talking about how they just created this new quesadilla. Oh my gosh, why didn't I just say Taco Bell? Okay, so McDonald's created this new quesadilla for people who are like super interested in chicken nuggets. So it's like a quesadilla with chicken nuggets. I don't know. It sounds very interesting, but they know that people who love chicken nuggets want to eat them in a warm wrapped tortilla. Very strange. But when you're reading it on, and say you're one of those people who loves chicken nuggets in a quesadilla with cheese and all of that stuff. So say you're reading it on the McDonald's website, and besides them saying you've been craving a late night snack, but you don't know if you want chicken nuggets or a quesadilla. You want both. Besides saying something like that, which is talking directly to you, they're saying things like, how would I phrase this, because it's so strange. It would kind of be something like, they're craving a late night snack. They want chicken nuggets and they want a quesadilla. They want their chicken nuggets bathed in cheese, wrapped in a warm tortilla. And do you see how there's a little bit of a disconnect? So sometimes this happens quite often, because sometimes when we're writing, we just say they. And what you really want to do is use you, because now you're talking directly to your ideal clients. When I'm trying to sell you chicken nuggets with cheese and a warm tortilla, I would be like, you know you want chicken nuggets, but you don't want 20 pieces. You only want a few with some cheese, a little bit of ketchup in a warm tortilla called a chicken quesadilla. I don't know. But when I'm saying things like they want chicken nuggets, they want it in cheese with a warm tortilla, the person reading it is going to be like, yeah, I want that, but I'm not them, or I don't know who they're talking to because they're not me. So that's something that is super important. Just be very cautious of when you use you and they, or also I and me versus we and all of that stuff. Another thing that plays along with the I versus you, me versus we, is when you're reading your website copy and you've noticed that you've said, my favorite thing, for example, say it's a photographer. My favorite thing about photography is blah, blah, blah. I love long walks on the beach and candlelit dinners with my partner, blah, blah, blah. What made me fall in love with photography is blah, blah, blah. What made me fall in love with travel photography is blah, blah, blah. But honestly, you haven't said anything about your ideal client or like what they actually want. Hello, Shaylee. Thanks for joining us. Let me know what you are having in the comments below. If you're having water, wine, coffee, Coke, tea, kombucha, anything else. So be really cautious of how often you are talking about yourself in your website copy. The thing that I always like to think about is a rule I made up for myself. Start off with talking to or with your ideal client. So use you, talk about them, and then talk about yourself afterwards, because usually most of the time people want to read things that connect with them first, and then they're like, oh, this person gets me. Then they want to get to know you, right? It's kind of like when you're on Tinder and you're putting things that, are interesting to you, but also things that you want other people to have. So when you're swiping on Tinder, I don't know, I haven't been on Tinder in a really long time. But when you're swiping on Tinder, for example, and you're looking at profiles, what draws you are things that probably people want to that you want from this person. You don't want somebody to just say things like, I think this, I think that, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? Is this making sense to you all? I'm not sure if my analogies are making sense today. But basically talk to your audience first, use you first, and then talk about yourself. And then just be cautious about how many times you use I or me in your website copy. One thing I like to do is just write everything, and then you just go back, you leave it for a day, you go back, and then you read through and you kind of highlight where you've talked about yourself too much, and then switch it up. Does anybody have questions about the I versus you, me versus we concept? I see this a lot, and honestly, I see this a lot on About Me pages, and everybody always says your About Me page isn't really about you, but there's a way that I think you can connect it to talk about them and then talk about the traits that you personally want in an ideal client. So this could be talking about your values, your why, your mission, your purpose, anything like that. But yeah, honestly, an About Me page is where we see a lot of these I, me, my, mine type situations where it's just the person talking about themselves and not talking to the ideal client. And, you know, I think if you talk about yourself on social media, that's totally fine. And I think that's actually a better place where you talk about yourself a lot, just because it's more personal. And I don't know about you, but when I go on to somebody's website, I'm reading through a lot of their things. And then the first thing I do is I click on their Instagram. I don't click on their Facebook. I don't click on their LinkedIn. This is the type of buyer I am because I know that I want to first get to know somebody on a personal level. And I know that Instagram allows me to do that. So I always click on their Instagram first. So that's just like another tip. That's something that you could probably talk to your ideal clients about to kind of understand the market research and also understand what type of buyer you are. If you honestly click on their LinkedIn first because you want to see their professional accolades, or if you want to just get to know them as an individual, a person, those types of things. Okay, so the second biggest mistake that I see in website copy is that there are no call to actions. So a call to action is basically an action that you want your audience to take at the end of reading this page, reading a caption, reading anything, honestly, or even watching something. And a call to action could be something like book a session with you, download this freebie, join your newsletter, follow you on Instagram, schedule a consultation, learn more about your services, all of that. So one of the biggest things is most of the time you have to really think about the specific call to action that you want for each page. Hi, Oriana. So you want to know what the specific call to action is for each page of your website. You want to have a specific one for the homepage about contact, of course, for your services. And also be really strategic about where you put your call to actions because sometimes it really depends on the type of client. But what you want, like sometimes people will book things or click on things in the middle of a page, or they will click on things and they have to read through the whole thing. So that's why you want to have multiple call to actions throughout the page that are placed in strategic areas that, will actually guide your reader to where you want them to go next. So the biggest thing is saying something like on your services page, if you are interested in working together, send us a message. And then the page ends and there's no button to the contact page. There's not even like a link to the contact page. There's not a link to a separate form. There's not a link to book a call or anything. So just be cautious and wary that each of your pages has a specific call to action. And it doesn't necessarily need to be an outbound link to a separate page outside of your website, but it could be an inbound link to, honestly, I don't know, for example, going from your home page to your about page. That's like a normal one. You want people land on your home page and then you want them to learn more about you to go to your about page. So just be like really, really clear about where you want your ideal audience to go. And you can add like multiple call to actions on multiple pages or on one page. But honestly, remember, people also get analysis paralysis. So the more options you give them, the less likely they're going to take action, or you're going to send them down a rabbit hole, which I don't know if it's good or bad. I guess if you have multiple blog posts, you can send them down a rabbit hole so that they get familiar with your content. But if you're trying to get them to either book with you or subscribe or anything like that, you probably don't want to send your ideal audience down a rabbit hole and then they forget what they were going to do in the first place, right? I don't know if I've read so many blog posts, and this is something that I find a lot on bloggers. Like they link a lot of links in their blog posts. Like when I'm reading things like, okay, how to make chicken tikka masala, for example, and I'm just on their blog, I'm reading through, and they have a link to the knife that they use on Amazon. They have a link to another curry recipe on their blog. They have a link to follow them on Instagram. They have a link to download a freebie. And then what happens is I'm like, oh, I like this content. Let me just open this on different tabs. And then I get confused, or not confused, but I get really distracted because now I've opened 10 million things and I've forgotten to even check their website. Now I'm like scrolling on Amazon and I'm looking at other recipes, and then I'm on Instagram, but then Instagram is giving me like, what are those things called? Suggestions for other people to follow who are related to this food blogger. And I'm like, oh, let me check out this person. Let me check out that person. Let me do this. Let me do that. And now, unintentionally, this blogger has left me going down my own rabbit hole because it linked to so many different things. So really be intentional with your call to actions, and don't forget them, because you should have a call to action with every post or every page. Here, I'll show you an example of one. I'm taking this from a blog post that we wrote a while ago. Let's see if I can turn this. Okay, so this website, it's in Spanish, but the main concept of what they're saying is that they are an events venue and they're great for chefs or food entrepreneurs. And if they're interested in organizing their own event, or they want to present a specific product to a interesting group of people, then just send them a message to organize their event. So I found this and I was like, oh my gosh, this is so cool. Even though I'm not a food entrepreneur, this could be a really cool venue space for me to use for events in Madrid, or maybe just to network. And then there was no call to action. Like they said, legit, it says here, cuéntanos qué quieres organizar. Or let me read the whole thing. It says, estamos abiertos a todo tipo de ideas y nos encantaría conocerte. Cuéntanos qué quieres organizar. And in translation, it means we're open to all types of ideas and we would love to get to know you. Tell us what you want to organize. And then at the end of the website, it was just the footer and there were no call to actions. And I was like, wait, you got me, because I was reading this and I was like, oh my gosh, this sounds so cool. They said they have chefs, they have influencers, they have executive directors for food industry. And I was like, I want to meet these people. And then they told us to contact them, and then there was no contact button. And then I was like, oh my gosh, so where do I have to go now? How do I contact them? But I thought there would be a specific email I should reach out to, because this is specifically for events and not just like a general inquiry. So then I was looking on contact, but then their contact form wasn't working. And then I was looking on like other emails that I could find. I couldn't find anything. So that was the biggest problem. So don't forget to add call to actions in your website copy. Sarah says, you speak so good Spanish, you can barely hear an accent. Yes, I've been working really hard on my Spanish for 5 years now. Okay, so another big mistake I see with website copywriting is this idea of like random facts versus storytelling. Marketing experts these days are telling us things like, share random facts about you, be relatable, get vulnerable, be honest, share funny stories about your life, build a personal brand. You know, people want to interact with humans. They don't want to just interact with a robot or a company. And yes, I believe that, but then there's like the other side to it. You know, random facts are great, but you have to be really conscious of how they fit into your story. Like me telling you I have a dog named Coco is like a true random fact right now. It's not part of my story. It's not part of my brand story. It's not part of anything that could relate right now to my ideal audience, because it's just not something that fits with me. Sarah, on the other hand, who is part of the Use Your Voice Mastermind, actually has a dog, and she shared about her dog in our private Facebook group. And to me, it makes sense that she shares about her dog, because her value and her why is all about family. And when you I mean, she can talk about it. Sarah, if you're here, if you want to type it out, then let us know. But when she talks about her dog, she talks about her dog being her baby and part of the family, and how for her it's really important, family values. And when you are able to run your business and really present yourself professionally online, then you can provide more for your family, which is her dog and her husband. For me saying my dog is super special, I love my dog and my dog is awesome and her name is Coco, is not really relevant, only because she's not really my dog anymore. She's my family's dog. And that's not really part of my story, because as much as I love my dog, I don't view her as my child or my baby. Maybe my sisters do, but I just don't anymore, just because I've been, outside of the US for going on 2+ years. So again, random facts are great, but I think you should save those for social media. And on your website copy, choose things that fit into your story. Choose things that aren't random, but actually go into, what your values are and what you believe in, and not just things like, oh yeah, I love my dog. Sarah, for you, it would be different because you really do love your dog. I mean, not that I don't love my dog, but you know what I mean. The values there are a little bit different. So for me, my values are specifically aligned to location independence, and being able to go back and forth, but not necessarily having my dog here with me. I honestly think if I had my dog here with me, she would be stressed and anxious. I just think this house is too small. But yeah, so those are other things. Does anybody have questions about the random facts versus storytelling? Honestly, I think random facts are great, and they're great to be used on social media, but on your website, you really want to be very strategic of what you write, just because you want to instantly connect with people. Again, remember, people are on your website for, 30 seconds or less than 30 seconds, 7 seconds, I think is the thing now. They're on your website for 7 seconds, and then if they don't connect with you, then they're going to click out. So using strategic storytelling to really, really convey parts of your story to connect with their story is where I think that fits best for your website copy. Okay, so let me read through and repeat the 3 biggest mistakes again. So the first one is talking too much about yourself, and not connecting back to your audience, and also not referring to them directly. You want to just say you besides using they. You is more of a connection. They kind of removes them and you from the situation. And if you want to instantly connect with someone, you want to use the word you. Number 2, you don't have specific call to actions to guide your audience to the next step. Make sure that each page of your website has a specific call to action, whether that could be click to see your portfolio, view your services, book a call, follow me on Instagram, send me a DM, download a freebie, anything like that. Make sure that you have a specific call to action and strategically place it through different areas on your website. And then 3, no random facts. Please, no random facts. If the random facts are thrown in everywhere and they don't make sense, it just is going to hurt your website copy. Make sure that you're using storytelling in a way that instantly connects you to your audience and also connects your story back to their story. So those are the 3 biggest mistakes. If you are still watching live, let me know if you are guilty of any of them. Honestly, when I first started, I think I didn't have call to actions, or I had interesting call to actions that didn't make sense. And then I am not guilty of the random facts, but I think I story told too much. And sometimes you just have super long chunks of text that you don't really need as well. The goal is to make it concise and clear without boring your audience. So yeah, let me know if you have questions about the biggest mistakes for website copy. I will be sipping my wine in the meantime because I've been talking so much. And of course, if you have any questions that come up, feel free to send me a DM. Sarah says, the I, we, you, they. I think I need to be better on it, and especially consistent. Yeah, sometimes this is true too. So if you want to be seen as more of an agency and have a team, then make sure that you use we. And then another thing is, if you don't want to be seen as a team, then you can just say I. So for example, for a long time, the Quirky Pineapple Studio, I referred to the Quirky Pineapple Studio as we. And I talked about myself so much as a we that when I had meetings alone with clients, I was like, oh yeah, we can do this, we can do that. Yes, of course, we blah, blah, blah. And they were like, Cassandra, who's we? And I was like, oh, me, actually, just me. I don't have anybody else. And they're like, oh, you have a team? I was like, no, not yet. Don't have a team yet, but I will. And we will be doing amazing work. So again, if you want to kind of give it a feel like you have team members, or even if you do hire contractors or something, you can use we. I don't think it's lying. I mean, I did that a lot, and I ended up just thinking that, honestly, my sisters who were doing things in the background helping me were like part of the team. Oriana says, I'm so glad you said this because I was considering adding some cutesy random facts to my about page. What? Oriana! No! So I think some of the facts that you added, because we just wrote your website copy, actually, some of the facts that you can add, I think we added things about you loving Earl Grey tea. We added things about you loving the ocean. And then what else did we add? Something about surfing or the beach, I think. And I don't know what your random facts are, but you can comment them below and I can be like, oh yeah, this makes sense. But honestly, think about if they are random facts, use them for social media. Things like, oh, I love donuts. I don't know if that is like a value for your brand, but I think for us, the Earl Grey tea kind of goes back to how you like we were saying this, not slow living, intentional living. So being in the moment, enjoying things. And then we talked about you loving the ocean because of going outside and loving nature, and also the beach because it's calming and all of that stuff. So if you are going to choose random facts or any facts in general, just make sure that they align with your values and also your business values and like what you believe in. I think we worked on like your Instagram too, and you mentioned chocolate. So if you want to say that you love chocolate, you can honestly tie that back to like who you are as a person, your personality, and how chocolate plays into that. For me, I could say things like, I think on our about page, it's not really about me anymore. Let me double check. But I did add a few things like we love going out, not in that sense like getting crunk, but we love going out and having like a glass of wine or sangria, but now we realize like we both don't need, like me and Luana don't drink sangria. We both love red wine, so we stuck to red wine. And then we added things about just our values in general, and then kind of remove the random facts, especially because for me, it's not just me anymore. It's me and Luana, and now Julia, who is doing all of the other SEO stuff. So yeah, if anybody has other questions, let me know down in the comments below. Oriana, if you want to share what your random facts were, I'd love to hear them. Or you can share them on a new Instagram post that should be going out, I don't know, tomorrow for, maybe not tomorrow. You do Friday introductions, I don't know, Saturday selfie to talk about random facts, to just connect to people or anything like that. Dun, 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 dun. All right, I'm just going to be drinking my water while I wait. But if you all don't have any other questions, then cool. That's totally fine. But if things do come up, let me know in the DMs. You can send me a message or anything like that. And then, yeah, I think that's it. I am probably going to hop off soon. Oriana says, what you said totally makes sense. Awesome. Yes. Cool. Hi, Ayin. We actually are just wrapping up about website copy, but you can watch the replay when I share it. But what are you drinking if you are joining us live? Actually, Oriana, I forgot to ask you what you're drinking. If you are having wine, I don't think you are. It's 1 p.m. Yes, I just finished. But we covered a lot of good things. I talked about the 3 biggest mistakes for website copy, which is talking too much about yourself, not referring to your ideal clients in the you form, or kind of being inconsistent with using I or we. Sometimes I use I, sometimes I use we. It really depends on, like, for example, the website I use we, and then the blog post I use I. I knew you would be drinking Earl Grey tea. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. And then also making sure that you have clear call to actions and not just saying random facts, but being intentional about how you're connecting with your ideal audience by sharing not random facts, but parts of your story that actually make sense. Okay, y'all. Well, I'm going to end it here. I have to finish packing because your girl is headed to LA tomorrow for a business retreat. So feel free to catch Instagram stories. I'll be sharing all about it over here or on my personal account. But yeah, if you have any questions about website copy or content strategy, feel free to send me a message and I'd be happy to chat it out with you. And if you are interested in the Use Your Voice Mastermind, I'm just going to plug it in right here. Feel free to send me a message about that. It's a 4-month group mastermind. Sarah's part of it. And we have weekly challenges. Actually, this week, we already had Georgia who did her challenge. Sarah, you still need to do your challenge. And then we have a guest speaker coming in every month to talk about certain things to help you get visible online and offline. But anyways, I'm going to hop off. Cheers to you all. Thanks for joining this Wine Wednesday. And let me know if you have other ideas on what you want to watch next time. And I'll see you next week for another edition of Wine Wednesday where I'll be in Virginia. All right. Bye. Oh, wait. Actually, you know what? I'm going to show you all because you all are watching live. I've been sharing sneak peeks about it on my personal account and also on this account, but we are launching something exciting in March, and we shared a post about it. You can take it anywhere with you, I don't know what else to give a hint at, but you can take it anywhere with you. You may be able to put it on your body or just carry it on you. And it is part of the Quirky Pineapple Studio brand. It's for past clients, current clients, future clients, or even followers who might not work with us, but you still love us. And I want to give you all a little peek at it because I shared it in stories a little bit, but this is not the final version. I'm just going to flip it over so you all can see. Okay, so that is all I can share because I still need to finalize the last illustrations with the designer, but it's launching in March and it's available, going to be worldwide, I guess, depending on where you are based. But keep on the lookout for that. It'll be launching soon. I'm super excited. Seriously. That's not the color palette. The color palette will actually be the brand colors, but that is currently what we have going on. Yes. Okay. I'm going to hop off now before I spill all the beans because I get chatty when I've had a little bit of wine. Okay. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much for joining.